Hello and welcome to this Tech User Lab focusing on teams in education and integrating AI and learning accelerators. Hello, I'm Sally Hodgson. I'm Head of Client Success and Training at Wavenet Education.
Hello there, I'm Karen Oliver and I'm a training consultant with Wavenet Education. We're going to be focusing today on various different tools within Teams Education, whether that's assignment creation or creating assessment rubrics, and where those learning accelerators fit into Teams for Education as well. And we'll have a look at the Classwork app, which is how you can organise your resources for different modules within your teaching. So now let's jump into Classwork and have a look at how Teams for Education works and how you can organise your resources for you and your students. You will of course have your homepage and you can personalise that in all sorts of different ways with sort of buttons to help your students navigate, a nice sort of welcome announcement, all sorts of things to make it feel like it's a nice friendly class environment.
These are all very easy to change as well, aren't they, within Teams, so
Very
that you can personalise it to not only the subject if you are teaching at a higher level, or just to make it look relative, and it makes it easier to be able to just look at the similes rather than all the names.
Absolutely. And for different age groups as well, because you want to tailor it in different ways. You know, primary ones are going to look very, very different to high school.
Yeah.
So, of course, you can tailor it in all sorts of different ways. Classwork, though, underneath here, this is where you can organise your modules. So modules might look a little bit different depending on what age group you're teaching. So maybe within high school, you might be teaching a whole module on chemistry, and it's a good way of being able to organise all your links, resources, assignments and things like that. So, okay, so I've got on here an example of some modules that have been set up under Classwork, and I'll show you how to set those up in a minute. But on here, I've got this sort of set up. So I've got what this particular module about. So this is one about electricity. This is for sort of year 4. I put in there, and underneath here I've got some nice links that have been set up for them to have a little look at. So at the moment, some of these this is published, and if it's published, the students can see it straight away. If it's in draft form, it's just for my eyes only, because I know that when you set all those things and you sort of send it out there to all your students, they will then complete the work before you had a chance to teach it. So
It can be overwhelming for some students as well, can't
it?
it?
Really overwhelming bit by bit, yeah. So you can just sort of make sure that it's kind of just sort of set nice and clearly for them, and then you can release that as and when necessary. So of course you can add different resources as you're going along, because sometimes you find that great resource halfway through the topic, and then you can pop it on there for them to access.
And can you go back in, say you find something afterwards, you can go back into something that's published and you can still add in, is that right?
Absolutely. So on here, this one here, I've actually got this published already. If I go to the 3 dots at the side, I can just go straight to edit module, and I can tinker with sort of the wording there. And down here, of course, I can edit the display name if I want to do that. I can move it to a different module, I can move the resource, all sorts of things. The other thing that I can do, if I just cancel that, over here, is I can actually pin it. So with lots and lots of different modules, it's quite easy to get lost, particularly with students, so it's the same up them being overwhelmed. So you can actually pin the module so that it will sit at the top, and it says pinned there, and I know that's at the top, so you can keep those really important, really current ones sitting at the top. So let's have a little look at how we could add a module. So to add a module, what I'm going to do is scroll down to the bottom of Classwork and go to Add Module. And there's a pop-up box here that comes up with 3 options. I can go to New Module, I can go to Module Ideas using AI, and I can reuse from existing. And if I click on there, it comes up with some different classes that I'm a member of. If I go down to one of those and hit Next, it comes up with some different modules that I've created beforehand that I might want to use again. So let's go with fun games for the 8 times table. Let's pop that into there.
Can you only see the ones that you are a member of? Like, so you can't see anybody else's work in this, it's all secure?
Yeah, so obviously you need to be a member of this to be able to see everything in there. So obviously if you know that somebody's done a great resource, then maybe get them to share that, maybe put it into a shared classroom or something that you've all got access to. So there we go. That's now sitting in my class as a draft. That hasn't been published yet. And of course, if I want to publish that, then I can do. So I can open this up here, and then it will come up with publish right there. And as soon as it's published, your students can see it. And once it's published, you can't unpublish it. You can edit it, but you cannot unpublish it. And of course, you can add different resources down here as well. So in order to do that, you can add files. So of course, you can upload your Word documents, whatever files you need from your computer or from OneDrive or wherever. You can set an assignment. Now, we'll come on to setting assignments in a minute. But from here, of course, you've got the options to set an assignment, to do a quiz, maybe using forms. And of course, you've got the wonderful learning accelerators here. So there's a few of those there. Whether it's your maths progress or your search progress, they all sit in there and you can make that part of your module. What I can do now to create a module is use AI, because AI is revolutionizing education. And as a teacher, we're always in control, we're always moderating and making sure we're happy. So what we can do here is use AI to generate some ideas. So let's go into here. So once I've gone into new module, I then can put in my learning objectives. So this is what I want my class to know. And of course, I could put in national curriculum objectives, anything like that to give extra detail. Just for now, though, I've just put in, just for sake of witness, learning the 8 times table. So I've got that ready to go. I can make that as detailed as I like. I can decide how many modules I want. So in this case, let's make it 3. Okay, and I'm going to draft those modules, hitting that there. Now, obviously, the more detail you put into that box, the richer the output will be. But here, this is what it's suggested so far. And of course, here I can go into each module that's been generated and I can edit that in the text box underneath. I can also go down to adjust at the bottom and I can make it more concise and regenerate that. And it's just made it shorter. And then I can decide to keep it if I want to, or I can carry on regenerating it. It's also good to know that the original is also there as well. So if I want to keep that one, I can do. But in this case, let's keep it there. And that is one of my modules created.
Great. That's really easy.
Really, really, really easy. And of course, once I'm happy with those, I can then go down to draft modules. And they are just getting ready. And this is when, of course, you can then go in and start putting in those extra assignments or other details that you want. So down here, I've got no resources yet, so I can go into this and edit the module. I can add those details there if I need to.
So you can add in there all the resources that you've already got, so it just saves time by creating those modules for you and planning out what sessions to do them in the 3 modules.
Absolutely. So then I can just go down to add resources and of course add away then. I can add links as well. So if you've got really good videos, really good website, games are fantastic, of course, you can put all of those links into there as you would do in assignments.
Fantastic. So how do you then get those modules and share them with your class?
Well, what you can do once you've published your module, you can go over to the little 3 dots at the side and then it says copy link to module. And of course, this is where Teams is really fantastic because you have that lovely sort of chat stream with your students and you can then copy and paste that link straight into that chat stream. And of course, if you set an assignment on here, which we'll come on to in a minute, that will appear directly in their assignments. You don't have to do anything else. It just sits directly in their assignments as well.
Okay, so now that you've shown us how to make modules, would you like to show us how we can make assignments in Team?
Absolutely. You can, of course, do that through Classwork, but you can set them independently as well. So if you go down to assignments under here, I've got some that were already created. To create a new assignment, I'm just going to go down and hit create. And I've got the options there of new assignment, new quiz, and learning accelerators, of course. So I can go to new assignment here. And this is really great because, again, I can put in some detail and I can give it a title. And now, down at the bottom, now I've put in a little bit of detail. It gives me lots of options with the AI. So it can add some detail, add steps, add sparkle, which always sounds really nice. There's lots of little emojis. So let's have a little look and see. So I'm going to add detail here. It will generate some suggestions about what we're going to do.
And you don't have to take those suggestions as read, do you? You can edit them. You can say, well, actually, let's put that bit in. But it would just save time by having that bulk put in there.
It really does.
Oh, that's a lot of information that's in there.
It is a lot of information. This is where you need to use your teacher head to decide if that's too much for your students or if it's just right. So that's really great. So I've got some nice things in there. I might want to tweak it slightly, adjust it a bit. So I'm going to go to adjust. I can adjust the grade level, you see, so it's down to grade 4. Maybe I think, oh, actually, let's try grade 3.
Yeah.
Let's see if that's slightly better for them. And
but you can, at a later stage, go into this and change to set it for different students, can't you? So you differentiate who's going to get what.
Yes, you really can.
Which is really good as well. So it's not a one size fits all, which is lovely.
No, you can do this for any group or any group of students that you need to do and do it independently for them. So, okay, once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go to keep it. And then I've got some other options as well. So I could add a bit of sparkle, could do all sorts of things. So we'll just leave it on sparkle, I think, just because it can make it look a little bit more interesting. And when that's done, there we go. We've got some nice little graphics on there. Maybe it looks a bit more friendly, doesn't it? And then, of course, I come down to the sort of the date that I want it set, so I can change the dates. I want that handed in, and the time as well. Can set that. And then, of course, underneath here where it says fourth grade, I can set it for different classes.
Okay, well, you just have to do it once, and then you can just do it for different classes.
All the classes.
That's good, isn't it? That's time saving as well.
And of course, underneath here it says all current students. So here I could set it for individual students if I wanted to. So maybe that's going to go for specific students, and I can select those people who need that bit of work maybe.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how you can set all of those. We'll come on to rubrics in a minute. We're going to have a look at assessment. And of course, you can sort of set different points as well. So whether it's going to be out of 10 or out of 100, you can decide what that's going to be in there. And lovely at the bottom there, you can add your reflect check-in as well. So we've done a whole thing on reflect, that lovely social emotional tool that helps pupils to be able to say how they felt about doing that particular topic. So you can add that as a check-in there. And I can even preview what that's going to look like. So it'll come up as a little, smiley faces, which they can choose. And then we just click on assign. Brilliant. And that is how you set that assignment. And there it is. It's top. It's at the top, which is lovely. So now we're going to have a little look at assessment.
Yeah,
I think, aren't we? So I'm going to go back into one that I've already created here.
And I want to see the rubrics as well.
I want to see the rubrics. That's exactly it. So rubrics, assessment, all those things. How are we going to grade this assignment once these students have done this marvelous piece of work? Well, you can set that up when you're doing the assignment, and of course you can go in and edit as well, just like I'm doing here.
Yeah. And
you go down and add rubric. Now again, you can create it from scratch. You can type in your own criteria for level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on. Or of course you can go in and create it using AI.
Right.
So here, of course, I'm going to type in my title. And I can choose the language as well. So I can have that like that. And then I can put in what I want this to evaluate. So I could just put in, and of course I could put in, national curriculum objectives, all sorts of different things into there. And the more detail, again, the better.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to create rubric. Now, what's come up here now, it's asked me for the grade level. So again, I can select that. I'm going to go for year 4. And this is really nice because it's got a rubric scale, and you can choose the ones that are predetermined here, or you go to customize. So instead of poor, I'm going to put unfinished.
Yeah.
Poor's a bit kind of like, you haven't tried very hard. It might be they didn't have time. So let's put in unfinished.
It's not very good use of language for poor.
Yeah. Let's put in that. And of course you can add other levels and things if you want as well. But 4 is quite a nice way to do that. And then I've got some criteria. So I'm going to put in here, I'm going to put in accuracy in there. Accuracy of information. And I can choose from the AI generated bits there as well. And then create rubric using AI. And it comes up with a rubric for me. And over here, it's got a points thing. So if I switch on points, it comes up with points next to it. So 4, you go. So for excellent, you get 4 points. 3 for good, 2 for fair, and unfinished would only get 1. So I can actually see that, and I can actually set a percentage as well if I want to. And I can add other criteria. So I've got one about accuracy information. Maybe I want to do one about research. How much time did you spend researching this? Okay. So once that's done, you can hit attach. If you want to change it, of course, if you want to refresh it, maybe try something different, you can hit the little refresh button there, and then you can have a different one if you want to. But then I'm going to hit attach, and down here underneath my assignment, I've got the little grid sign there, and it says energy sources. That means that is ready to go, and I'm going to update it so that my class knows assessment criteria is on there.
Wonderful. What we're going to have a look at now is Maths Progress and Maths Coach. These are new. They came out at the beginning of this year, 2025. And we can have a look at how you can use the learning accelerators within Teams to set assignments, if you'd like to share that. Karen, thank you.
So I certainly remember sort of setting maths questions and things like that when I was in the classroom, and you're sitting thinking, okay, how many different ways can I do a fractions problem? Oh, begins. This is what is brilliant because it will generate those questions for you really quickly. You can have as many as you like, and you get to edit and select which ones are appropriate. So I'm going to go down to create again. Again, this is all under assignments. So I'm going to go to learning accelerators and maths progress. So once it comes up, you get to put in here. You can generate some questions. You can also create your own. If you want to create your own, you can add questions there. That's fine. Here, though, I'm going to generate it just to see what comes up. And I'm just going to go to fractions, choose a topic on fraction as well. Okay, let's go with basic operations. Just stick to that the basics today, and generate. So this really is more suitable for sort of your upper primary, high school, and so on. But what it does is generate all of these questions and the answers. You don't have to think about what that's going to be, and then you just select the ones you want. So let's go for this one, this one, this one. And when you select them, it just goes to the side here. So I know that these are the ones I'm happy with, and oh, maybe that's not what I want to deal with today. Let's just add a couple more. And then once I'm happy with those, I'm going to go to next. And this is, of course, where I can customize this and put in some more personalized options. Down here, I got the correct answer, so I can see that. So with this here, they can show they're working out on something like Class Notebook, or they can actually upload a couple of pictures as well. So they can take a photograph and upload it, which is great.
You can still use pen and paper.
Definitely.
And then just take a photograph and upload it. It's useful.
Yeah, it's great. You can add student rating as well, so they can say how they found it. And you can shuffle the question order as well if you want to mix those questions up. Maybe you're doing it in class and you don't want them sort of doing the same question at the same time. You can do that too. So I'm happy with that at the moment. And I'm going to click done. So under here, under assignments, it's come up with maths progress down there. I know that's set. I can give that a title. And so we've got that into there, and then I can assign it. Now, what happens when your students go onto it is very interesting. I'm actually going to switch over to my student now. And when she goes onto it, she has a go at the problems, and then it will actually give us some feedback because this is the maths coach. I've set an assignment, that's maths progress. The maths coach will show her some steps to break down the problem when she gets stuck.
That's really useful, isn't
It's
it?
really lovely. So I'm going to go into my assignment here. Okay, so what I've got here as a student, I've got my full questions. I'm going to, I've been told I can actually take up to 5 pictures, so that's quite nice to show that working out.
Yeah.
I'm going to get started, and there is my assignment. So I'm just going to click on some random ones here, just to get this. And then I can even say if it's hard, easy, or just right. So I can really say that. And so on. It's also got a thing here that shows you how quickly you're getting through it. Let's just go.
A bit too quick. Where's your working out, Karen?
I know, I should definitely be doing my working out on here, shouldn't I? Right, I've done that, and I'm done, and I'm going to hand it in. I've got a nice slide, I've got a little pinata, very nice. So I handed it in. Isn't that lovely? So my student's completed her work, and I'm going to now go in and mark it. So I'm going to go into my assignments. I've gone to fractions. And this, of course, is where I can start seeing some of that student data. I can see that my student's handed her work in. And if I open it up, it's going to open it up for me. And it shows me what she's got right, what she's got wrong. But it also helps me look at different misconceptions as well. So it helps me to identify very quickly what those misconceptions might be. And then we can have a look into there. Okay, so I had a look through there. And maybe I've entered some feedback in here. Got a nice little feedback tool there. So I might say, good try. Have a look at some of these again. Okay, so of course we can sort of send that, and then oops, I can return that if I want to. Of course, you may have marks and things on there as well. I didn't set in that one, but you can do. So I'm now going to go back as my student. I've got my I've put a typo in there, never mind. It happens, doesn't it? So of course that's where I've got my feedback. And of course, if I go into here, I can have a look under here, hopefully, and I can see those misconceptions come up, and it will show me the solution steps. So it will actually show me how to work it out. And that's the coaching side of maths progress and maths coach.
Yeah, that's really, really useful, isn't it? Brilliant. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us today on this Tech User Lab, focusing on Teams and the learning accelerators and all the integrations that come with that for educators. And we'll hope you'll join us again soon on another video.